Today, we are really delighted to have Mr. G. Srinath with us. He's the franchisee owner of Little Millennium in Akshay Nagar. Sir, a hearty welcome to you to the
Thank you
Skoolz
so much for
platform.
inviting me. It's my pleasure.
Sir, it's a delight for us. Sir. So this is an initiative of Skoolz. This is Leader Speak series, where we have made an attempt to connect parents with school leadership so that they get to know the school a little bit, get a little bit more insight about not only the school, but also the school leadership. So welcome again, sir.
Thank you so much.
So Little Millennium in Akshay Nagar. So how do you welcome the child into the classrooms, and how does a typical day go for a child there?
Oh, it's a celebration. In fact, we have the entire staff at the door of the school, but staff is trained and engaged with the entire system for a longer period of time. Since they have the experience to handle the child, they will usher the child into the school. Of course, the parents are not allowed inside for the obvious reasons that, if they continue to be with the child for longer, the child will start to cry more than normal. So we will ensure that the child is in safe hands, and we usher the child with a lot of celebration. Of course, the first child will be a little difficult. As the children start coming in, then they will have the familiarity coming into place. So they feel comfortable as they come to the school. Yeah, it will be a wonderful feeling. Yeah,
that's very nice to know, sir, that the children are welcomed and they are taken into their classrooms with such warmth.
There will be a lot of chocolates, balloons, such things will happen. And then we let the children to have their own way of celebrating themselves.
So very welcoming environment.
Yeah, it's very, very emotional.
I want to come in.
Oh, anytime. Parents will be in tears. In fact, I don't know. It's a tear of joy that they will have their first step into the school, the small steps into the school, and then their education starts. We are also emotional to have the child in our school. That's the first responsibility. Starts at the gate of the school. That's where our responsibility starts. Yeah.
Very true. So preschool has a responsibility of training young learners, young children. So what kind of innovative methodology or techniques are employed in your franchise, in your center?
Yeah, we follow our own system of education, which is evolving on a daily basis. That's one of the reasons why I went to this franchise. Of course, I'll answer just in case if that question comes up.
Sure.
We have a little different departure from the way the other preschools run. Of course, all of them are good. I don't say that we are superior, but we are innovative. That's what is the difference, the cutting edge. And then we have been evolving on a daily basis because the children's education is the more difficult education system than the older ones, because we tend to understand, we have got the maturity in place, but the children's education is very, very competitive in terms of understanding what the child goes through initially. So we have a lot of research and development that's happening at the back end. And then we adopt those technologies which are the current, which will help them to mold themselves a little faster than the normal. And then we have various tools to ensure that the child goes through the age-related education. So that's what is very, very critical for the child in the initial days of their learning.
Definitely, sir. It's a reassuring for parents to know that it's not only child is welcomed warmly, but also handled in a very meaningful education. That's definitely reassuring.
We have a full year calendar that's been set out, which gives a holistic education for the child. There's a lot of psychology that is coming into play in terms of learning, and the accent is on psychology of the child. As I said, the child's brain evolving is faster than the people who are at, say, 10, 12 years of age. So between 3 and 5, we have to be extremely critical, and we should have the wherewithal to know what a child goes through in terms of learning. The learning curve is very, very fast, At the same time, it's very complex.
Very true, sir. And just that little Millennium has recognized it and they've made it into a workable solution. That's something wonderful. So the next question, always the academics gets answered and then the child's comfort gets answered. Then the question is about the safety. So how are the safety protocols in the schools?
Look, at our school, the audits are very, very tough. I can lose my franchisee if I am not good at the safety protocols. In fact, I come from a certified, what do you call, OSHA's Occupational Health and Safety Systems. I'm a certified guy myself, so I ensure that every single safety measure is taken care of, because children will be running helter-skelter. You can't stop them. The kind of energy that they have, they don't even see what is in their front or in their presence. They keep dashing here and there. Plus, it's not easy to manage 50, 60 children at one time. So our school is completely safety secured in terms of fire, in terms of hygiene, in terms of safety, in terms of CCTV cameras, you name it. We have identified, for any school for that matter, not my school, there are these minute things which matter, which can harm or hurt a child. So we are very, very careful in understanding what are those gaps that need to be filled, not on a long term, with a lot of gap, but on a daily basis. You will, in fact, surprised every day you come to know that there are so many gaps that we need to fill in. The children are the way to show us what are those things that we need to probably protect them from. So we are always on the lookout to see if there's anything that we have left out. But pretty much we cover most of the things that we identify ourselves before even we get the children into the school. Yeah.
So the children are definitely in a safe environment.
I do a surprise check myself every time that I go to the school to see everything is in place. And teachers have been trained to look for those areas where it might probably lead to some mishaps. So we ensure that most of it is covered. But let me be very, very upfront saying that there will be some fall here and there, which is actually natural. Children should fall and get up so that they learn to know what the life is. So we allow that kind of risk taking, but overall we are very, very capable of managing these risks. Yeah.
So allowing the child to go through the life in the natural process.
Natural process.
But definitely keeping them safe.
Yeah, absolutely. We have play area where we have mud, I've got a slide and all that. But they fall down there. They fall onto the mud and they get, little bruises here and there, which is good. Which should happen. They should know that there is a hurt that is happening. So they will learn those pains in life, right? They need to know. We should not make them very protected that when they grow up, they are not used to all this. But those kind of hurt will definitely help them grow stronger.
Definitely. So the learning is not only in the classroom, life skills in the play area, around the whole campus. Yep. So children learn at their own pace. Some children are very quick learners, some slightly slower. Motor skill also develops at different paces. Yeah. So how do you address this in the classroom?
We have a methodology, how the learning curve is going up for each of the child. We have their own books, we have a tool, and then we have the audits of each of the child in terms of their learning curve. So we will increase and decrease the pace of teaching them. And we change the way that we teach each of the children. Need be, we will probably spend a little more time with those children which require special attention after the classes are over. There are many children who take time. That's perfectly all right, because it's understood that every child has a learning curve. Not all of them will be at the same pace. In fact, some of them who go up will also come down. Sometimes some of them who are at the bottom will also go up. So this yo-yo keeps happening. And then teachers, of course, they've been trained very well by our principals to ensure that the learning does not happen at one brush for all the paint. Brushing all of it with one brush. No, it doesn't happen that way. True. We have different strokes for different children. Yeah. So there's a methodology to manage. And as I said, each child has a progress report, which we go through. And some of the times we bring in the parents' attention to increase their input in terms of learning for the child. It need not be always learning in the school. It could be probably related to back home, the kind of environment that the child comes from. So learning also happens the way we give the environment at home, for their learning, which is very, very critical.
Very true, sir.
All those counseling happens to the parents as well. In fact, we tell them what is our teaching methodology. In fact, the parents are aware as to how each child goes through the learning process. We share a lot. In fact, we are very, very transparent in terms of our approach.
Actually, sir, you answered my very next question. It was leading to it, like, how much parental participation.
Yeah.
So it's good to know the parents are also guided and in line with the school's ideology and where the line in which the child is learning.
Yeah.
That's kind of really good.
Yeah. Not only we have parent-teachers meeting, we have extraterrestrial parents meeting, which is probably out of the orbit kinds. We make it a lot of times to engage parents either through phone calls or invite them to the school, or we informally talk to them. We don't leave it for any surprises at the last minute. In fact, we are very, very proactive. That's one of the reasons why I'm still staying with the school. It's been 6 years, and I'm extremely happy the way we have conducted ourselves, not only in terms of child, but in terms of our relationship with the parents. So more than 70% of our admissions happen through word of mouth.
So service is excellent, and the growth of the child is definitely at the heart of the institution. So the children are learning so much at Little Millennium. So what kind of programs do you hold yearly where the child can showcase the learning and their creativity?
We create like now online is happening, and many children are not coming to the school. We create a lot of activities which are predetermined. They come online. Sometimes they come as army officers. Sometimes they come as postmen. Sometimes they come as women, policewomen. They come as fire brigades. They have their pictures displayed all over their homes. They have parents dancing to the tunes of children. So there's a lot of camaraderie that gets created. And then, as usual, we have an yearly event which most of the children wait for. And then we have a massive activity on the event, which happens every year. But every 3 months, every 4 months, we have these children. Of course, when we have the school, we have them over to our school. We have summer camps. We have winter camps. I've got a small swimming pool in my school. We open up in April. Not only our children, in fact, we get other children who are challenged in terms of their financial stability or something like that, or children of a special kind. We get them to our school and then allow them to use our swimming pool free of cost. We go to these NGO related schools with our children, and then donate food. We donate clothes to them, and then we take them to a police station. We take them to the park. We take them to water fire stations. So we have a lot of engagement programs which keep running throughout the year, which keeps them to understand life better. So ours is exploratory. It's not just the classroom. The celebration happens on a daily basis. We don't have to wait for one full year to complete and then do the annual event, which in any case happens. But on a daily basis, I keep telling my teachers, if the child has to come next day, the challenge is to ensure that the child is very high when it leaves the school. If the child has to come next day, it should have that kind of an experience in the school that it wants to come back. So there's a lot of fun activity that is built into the learning. So learning.
While you're talking, sir, I can hear that, the concern, the care you have, or, the concern that you have that the child should be happy and should leave the gates with a smile and with an expectation to come back.
Absolutely.
So,
see,
sir,
we have a responsibility on our shoulder. We are leaving these children to be the citizens of our country. Don't we have that responsibility? And the first step it takes is the first day of its learning of life. So that's the mantra I keep telling my children. Forget the fees that will come in any case. That's incidental. But what we leave to the society is more important than what I collect as a fee. Imagine the child remembers. So today, I remember my preschool, which I studied maybe 40, 45, 50 years ago. Even today, I remember. I may not remember my high school. I may not remember my college, but I remember my first days of my school. That is imprinted as of today so much that I keep on remembering. Can I go back and become a child?
Sir, could this have been an idea what started you to come into the field of education?
Yeah, I've been a very soft trainer for the last 2.5, 3 decades now. Indirectly, I've been into training. And then I always felt that I need to open a school. This seed got into my mind maybe about 15, 20 years ago, that I want to end up in an educational field in any form. I'm a soft skills trainer today. I'm into business coaching. I'm into soft skills training of colleges, schools, and in corporates. So that led me to probably be in the educational field, and I was looking for many opportunities to be there. I used to be guest speakers in many colleges. So I said, this is where I want to be. And then the opportunity came to me when I hung my corporate shoes. I said, I have to be an entrepreneur. And it came naturally to me. If I have to be an entrepreneur, I'll be in the area of education. And then preschool was already there in my mind. And hence I started this journey of mine in 2013 with Little Millennium.
Wonderful, sir. Quite a good journey, I would say.
Excellent.
And happy place you've created a happy place for the kids.
Oh, yeah.
So preschool per se has not been a very structured segment in our country in the past decade and all. But now with NEP, it's been formalized. So what are your thoughts on it, sir?
It's good, actually. It's true that preschools are not organized. Not all of them are not organized. In fact, we are very, very organized. It depends on how we view our business. In fact, it's a business outfit, right? End of the day, we're all here to make money. And you'll be able to make money if you bring in processes and procedures. Otherwise, you will not survive. And hence, the reason that most of our schools are successful because we follow a given procedure and process. So we are organized in a disorganized sector. So we are probably an exception that we are organized. Yes, it's extremely good to note that the new policy is coming up. In fact, I was part of that discussion which Mr. Tejasvi Surya and others put together the white paper to send it to Delhi. In fact, I was with that group of people who were attending with Mohandas Pai, Dr. Sridhar and Tejasvi Surya. It happened in RV College. So I still remember the way the people spoke about the new way of education, which is absolutely welcomed. In fact, that should be the way forward for any education. Children will become experts in their domain. We don't have to push them to do things that we want them to do. That's the thing. The other is the Hindu way of learning will come to the fore. And then we are showing the world why India is good for education. Probably that will make a path for the new generation to understand how good India was some years ago in terms of learning, where the whole world used to come here to learn, like Takta and all that. So it's good that we are going back to our old age system. I definitely welcome. In fact, it's extremely a good thought on the on these people's mind, and it's good that we stand up and deliver it to people across the world that we are one of the best, if not the best, in terms of education, right? Our value system itself is an education.
Very true, sir.
I welcome it. Yeah, absolutely. We are on the right track.
So much of value in our traditions and the whole system that we have, the Gurukul, take it the Gurukul system or anything.
Yeah.
So it's definitely the time for it to come forward.
True.
Very true, sir. Sir, can I have your feedback on our platform, Skoolz?
Yeah, in fact, Mr. Kishan spoke to me a year ago, which was still in the fledgling state at that time. Of course, you have now moved a long way from there on. It's good to connect with parents from the school perspective and to parents with the school management, because there are a lot of these gray areas which parents may not be aware of as to where they have to put their child and what kind of schooling is required. While all of them look the same, there are subtle differences. Because as I said, if you are grown up, you know which school, which education you need to pursue, what course you need to pursue. But as a child, it's not easy to even pick up the school. While I said earlier, all of them look the same, but there are these unique practices that each of the school goes through. And probably you may want to associate with such schools. And schools platform of yours will give that opportunity for the parents to probably explore those unanswered questions and then get the child into the right place. So from that perspective, I think you guys are doing an extremely good job. I hope you'll continue to be innovative, be new in your thinking, so that it is just not about the business perspective that you look at, but help a lot of these parents across the country with length and breadth to probably help them to settle their children at the right place. Yeah.
So thank you so much for those kind words and the support. And definitely, as you said, we also look forward to keeping it fresh and very relatable to the parents too, while facilitating other schools there.
Sure.
So thank you so much for your time and for sharing your experience and expertise with us. Thank you once again for being on our Leader Speak series, sir.
Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure. It was wonderful to know about you and your organization. All the very best to you, and Happy New Year to you and your families. God bless.
Thank you so much, sir. Happy New Year to you. Thank you.
Thank you.